Hello everybody. Last night, or well, earlier this morning, Clay dropped the first beta for the next update, Ancient Echoes. This precursor to the final Shadow Rift update so far includes a brand new cave biome, expanded archive exploration, juicy ancient lore, a post-Shadow Rift boss thing, and my favourite thing in this update, a tree that crushes you with a big boulder whenever you chop it down. Trust me, it's cooler than that. Let's quickly check this out. Keep in mind, this is all part of the first beta, and everything here is unfinished and, say it with me, subject to change. Firstly, let's go over the new cave biome. May I present to you the fumarole biome. It's exactly what it says on the tin. A section of the cave populated by these thermal vents that pop out a lot of heat, and during the shadow rifts, a thick miasma cloud. The heat they emit is enough to cause overheating, so be careful when going through this biome. They can also be mined to get a couple of rocks. But this biome doesn't just have these fumaroles, since you can also find these boulderbough trees. Big slabs of rock suspended up in the air by vines, with a few little things dangling below the boulder. You can chop these with an axe to get a couple of twigs and whatever was dangling below the boulder. But as you can expect, the giant rock being suspended above your head will fall back down on you and deal a hefty bit of damage if you're not armoured. Or if you're speedy, you can quickly avoid the rock on its way down if you time it perfectly. You can then mine the boulder again to get even more rocks, flint and nitre, as well as a seed that will let you replant these things wherever you want, and that includes topside. This gives the player access to a very easy, very efficient and very painful way to get boulders renewably. But not only that. Sometimes dangling from the things you'll find gemstones, more commonly red or blue ones, but sometimes even ruins grade gems. With how fast these things grow, seriously it takes like a day for them to grow, we now have the best way to farm all of this stuff. Rocks, flint, nitre and gems. Provided you can tank or dodge the damage from harvesting them. But what if you didn't have to do any of that? What if this game had characters like, I don't know, Wort, who can harvest things without even being close to them? And what if Wort had an alignment perk that made it so her merms dying became even stronger, making this new painful tree an actual benefit for her? Or maybe you can use it to deliberately kill things like pigmen or merms to farm their drops without needing to actually get into a fight with them. These trees are insanely powerful, and the potential they have is crazy. And once again, Wort mains stay winning. Sorry Maxwell, the boulders do crush your shadow servants right away, killing them instantly. Ah well, these boulder trees are stupidly easy to find too, since the fumarole biome is perfectly safe, for now, before activating the shadow rifts. But what if you did activate the shadow rifts? Then say hello to Ripple, a big dreadstone centipede guy that patrols around the fumarole biome, munching up all of the miasma clouds that choke the atmosphere. As of right now, Ripple cannot be fought or attacked by any means, since most of your attacks will bounce off of them, and it just kinda keeps to themselves, ignoring you whilst they go around doing their little thing. Much like the Great Depths Worm, they will hurt you if you get too close, but that's on account of the giant spikes protruding off their carapace. They don't mean to hurt you, they will ignore you completely. For now, they don't do much, but expect to see them have some purpose and most likely be fightable in the upcoming patches / when the update finally releases. Fun fact by the way, in the patch notes it is described as a companion of the Ancients, and we can even see centipede memorabilia in the ancient murals from the Metheus puzzles. It also explains why the centipedes look like centipedes. That's all for the fumarole biome as of now. Let's check out the new archive editions. Now you're not going to find these if you walk around the archives as you knew them before. Instead, you're actually going to have to go to the surface and explore your oceans until you find this whirlpool. Now be careful of this thing, since it will slowly pull in your boat and ravage it apart. But if you quote unquote drown whilst inside the whirlpool, it will spit you, and the scraps of your boat, out inside a cut off section of the archive biome. Here you'll find a weird sanctum waymark thing that won't do anything unless the archive itself has been powered on. Thankfully, you can hop down this egress to be plopped right into the archive portal room. So that means the sinkhole can be used as a method to find the archive biome early if you're not having good luck finding it in the caves. So go power up the archive, hop back down the whirlpool, and you can use the formerly useless waymark to be teleported into... I don't know what this place is called, so let's call it the, Deep Archives. Now this area is a big expansive maze of waymarks that each take you to a different room. As of right now, this place is clearly unfinished and lacks a destination. But in here as of now, you can find these 3 masks. The Elytra, the Artificer, and the Visionist, which looks oddly familiar. These masks don't do much on their own, but they do grant the wearer the ability to decipher the ancient lunar rune stones to finally see what they say. The ones found in the archive regular all hark to the ancients' worship of Altar, something we kind of gathered from the giant laboratory of moon worshipping statues already, but it's good to finally see it written like this. What happened to them to stop worshipping the moon and instead the shadows in the ruins we see today? However, the lunar rune stones found in the Deep Archives talk about the area itself, how they were designed unnaturally to confuse all those who enter. You'll also find monuments and statues depicting the ancient gateway and the death of a bunch of ancients all around it, with a nearby lunar rune stone referring to a keystone and how through it, everyone will fall. Does the keystone refer to the ancient gateway, perhaps? You'll also find this big puzzle room. Once you pull the lever, you have to make your way to the other side by hopping across these rocks, whilst nearby statues will destroy the path they take. Falling here isn't fatal, so take your time to find a way across. My best solution to cross this puzzle is to go forward once and then all the way to the left or the right, depending on the rotation of the enemy statues, and then navigate your way forward as the other statues get stuck. Once you get to the other side, you'll find what is, as of right now, the final room in this biome. A room with a bunch of statues of ancients, and a lunar rune stone saying how the keystone will never cross this threshold. I'll go into more depths about the lore of the ancients when the area is completed and the chapter has concluded, but I am very excited to see where all of this lore goes. And more importantly, the significance of why the ancients have a mask depicting Wilson. For now though, there's nowhere else to go in this biome, so try to find your way back out, this took me several days by the way, and hop back into the archive proper. And that, for now, is the contents of this current beta. You're all up to date. We got the best new way for farming boulders, as worked, a new puzzle mini dungeon, and the seeds of new lore. I'll be keeping an eye on this beta and do another full overview when the update comes out for real. But for now, I'm going to be crushing worms non-stop for the next few weeks. Take care everybody, and have a lovely day. Bye bye.